Hey everybody, what's up? This is Tim Reset from eminimind.com. Thanks for joining me today for this quick video. I just wanted to show you how I set up my pivot charts and use them in my trading. So in front of you we have four charts: the ES, that's the S&P futures, the Dow futures, NASDAQ futures, and Russell futures. On the chart I have just the pivot, the actual pivot level, and the 20 period exponential moving average, and this is a 15-minute chart, and this is trading hours only, so the after hours session is turned off. Now, what is the pivot level exactly? The pivots are calculated by the prior day's high, low, and close, and these levels are commonly used in the trading pits as reference points, support and resistance levels. Now, I don't get too crazy with the pivots. I don't necessarily base trades specifically off the levels, but I like to know whether or not we're trading above or below the pivot for the day. And the 20 period exponential moving average helps me judge whether or not we're trading, really far off the average and more likely to come back to the pivot, or whether or not we're, just chopping sideways and right along the 20 period exponential moving average. So how do we set up the chart here? And what I do, this is the Thinkorswim platform. Why don't I bump out another new chart, bring that in here. So I use the four futures platform, ticker symbols for my charts. So what we're going to do is to use ES. To get the four charts, you simply open up a new chart window, and if you have one chart, you click up here and go to 2. And one thing that we can do is we'll set up one grid, we'll save that grid, and then we'll copy it to all the other three. So the first thing we're going to do is go into our settings, futures, show volume, turn that off, show extended session, turn that off. Scale and axis is good. Appearance, we're going to go down to present color for background. I like it black. Appearance, present color, black. Okay. One other thing I like to do actually is turn off the grid, back to appearance, and uncheck show grid. So now we have our chart. We'll take that on a 15-minute chart, and we'll turn that into chart type, candlestick. We'll do intraday, 1 day, 15-minute, and then we'll add a pivot study. Edit studies. We'll do pivot points, delete open interest, click on the pivot, show plot. We're going to turn off, uncheck these other ones, R1, R2, R3, S1, S2, S3. I like to change my pivot color to white, and I make it a dotted line. Okay. So that's the pivot. If we go back in and we add a exponential moving average, again, optional. If you want to add it, you can. 20 is what I use, the kind of teal color, and okay. Now what we can do is do save style. We'll just call that one black pivot. Include study set. Okay. And then if we go up to the other next chart, we'll do /YM. Style, load style, black pivot. And then same thing for these other two here. We can do NASDAQ NQ and Russell TF. Style, load style, black pivot. Style, load style, black pivot. So there are multiple pivot levels. There's the pivot, and then there's resistance 1, 2, and 3. I really don't look at those too much. Rarely do we move outside R3 and S3, so if we are really extended for the day, sometimes I will pull up the R3 or S3 and see where we are in relation to that. But otherwise, it's pretty simple. I'd just like to know if we're above the pivot or below the pivot, and whether or not we are trending with the 20 period exponential moving average. So hopefully that was helpful. If you do have any other questions, shoot me an email, eminimind@gmail.com. Thanks.